I'm Reese.
I'm Nelson.
I'm Jonathan.
And we are JNR Productions.
And we present
cannons and how they work.
The trebuchet cannons. This is a catapult that throws rocks so it would go into castle. It used counterweights and gravity to throw the rocks into its destination. It used counterweights and a sling to increase its distance and speed. It traveled about 100 meters and its design was a sturdy frame and it weighed about 220 pounds. What really helped with this design function was the counterweight in the beam and the sling which held the rock. The beam was a foundation and the counterweight was what it rests on. For it to achieve its distance, it was held at about a 45-degree angle.
My section was the 1800s, the practice of rifling or casting lines inside a cannon's barrel as it gave the cannon gyroscopic stability which improved accuracy. One model, known as the Armstrong gun, was one of the earliest rifled cannons. They launched either shots, solid projectiles used to penetrate armor, or shells, an explosive projectile. They could break through the ship's side and explode on the inside of it, increasing damage and casualties. The cannon was first manufactured in Europe in 1855. The Armstrong gun was accurate and very powerful.
So for my first section, I did the 1900s to present. And a modern artillery piece is generally referred to either as a gun or by the name of a specific type, such as a howitzer. Since in World War II, the term cannon is used to refer to a gun of around 20 millimeters to 125 millimeter caliber, sometimes with an automatic loading action capable of firing explosive ammunition, or an autocannon. The minimum caliber of a cannon, 20 millimeters, has been a de facto standard since World War II, when heavy machine guns of 12.7 millimeters and 13.2 millimeter caliber were used side by side with the 20 millimeter and larger gun. For example, the T-92 240mm howitzer is a heavy armor rolling howitzer. It shot 360-pound projectiles around 14 miles. Its primary function was to destroy places or help the army. With its heavy armor, it had some protection as well. It is an improved cannon with a farther range and more destructive ammunition. Considering the power of this machine, you could kill him.
For my second section, I did early civilization cannons. The first metal cannon was a pot de fer first depicted in an illuminated manuscript by Walter de Milamy of 1327 that was presented to Edward III upon his ascension to the English throne. The manuscript shows a four-legged stand supporting a bulbous bottle, while the gunner stands back, well back, firing the charge with a red-hot iron bar. The bullet protrudes from the muzzle, but no wad is shown. This weapon and other similars were used by both French and English during the 100-Year War when the cannon saw their first real use in the European battlefield.
My second section was the post-Renaissance. During the Napoleonic Wars, cannons were the style of artillery of choice for Napoleon. Considering they were lighter by 1/3 of the cannon of any other country, for example, the barrel of the British 12-pounder weighed 3,150 pounds, and the gun with carriage and limber about 6,500 pounds. The Grabouille 12-pounder barrels weighed 2,174 pounds, and the gun with carriage and limber 4,367 pounds. Since Napoleon insisted on speed and mobility in conducting his maneuvers, this lighter cannon provided the flexibility he desired.
So for my second section, I did the modern cannons. One of them was the M65 atomic cannon, often called Atomic Annie. It was an artillery piece built by the United States and capable of firing a nuclear device. It was developed in the early 1950s at the beginning of the Cold War and fielded by 1953 in both Europe and Korea. The cannon was transported by two specially designed tractors, both capable of independent steering in the manner of some extra-long fire engines. Each of the tractors could achieve speeds of up to 35 miles an hour and negotiate right-angle turns on 28-foot-wide paved or packed roads. The artillery piece could be unlimbered in 15 minutes, then return to traveling configuration in another 15. The development of the rocket-based nuclear artillery put the M65 effectively obsolete. However, it remained a prestigious weapon and was not retired until 1963. This was the first and only nuclear shell to be fired from a cannon. And they were often continuously shifted around to avoid being detected and targeted by opposing.
And this concludes our cannon project.